Hey everybody, hope you're all doing well today. We'll get started here very shortly. Um, I am in a little bit of a hurry. Did we open these? That would help to open the tabs, wouldn't it? um, but yeah, I still have some good ones to look at. I just don't have as many as I typically do. So, we'll get started here. Dickie, what is going on? You were here before I was. Macromorph, what is up? Hope you're doing well today. As usual, there are a good amount of them, but I did pull 10 or so aside. I think more than 10. I don't know how to count. So, let me get the camera going here. It's full screen, right? There we go. Hey, everybody. Before I get started, I'll say it more at the end too because more people are gonna join, I'm sure. But we already uploaded our first Tinley video, obviously. So the one where we show some interviews and stuff like that. And Tinley was awesome, by the way. If you ever have a chance to go, definitely go to an NRBC show. They're not just up here. They're in Middle America, and they're in Dallas, I think, too, or just outside of Dallas, I should say. So definitely a really fun time. And on that, besides the one video that we already released, which we're very happy with, kind of doing that format, actually, kind of more. Actually, I kind of intend to amp it up even more. Just a 10 to 20 minute video where we're doing some more personal, like, talks with people, just actual authentic conversations with people about stuff, showing off cool animals. But of course the walkthrough is not going anywhere, and if on that tomorrow, at what time? Tomorrow at some time, the walkthrough will go live. It is how long?
4 hours 40 minutes.
It's 4 hours and 40 minutes. They are big shows, so we're literally walking through every single aisle. Now, we will, of course, have aisles marked with tags, so you can jump to each one. And on the description will be a link to a Google Doc, so you can actually jump around in the and kind of just go to where you want to see a certain vendor if you needed to do that, if you didn't have time to just fall asleep to it or something like that. It's what I used to do. I actually put them on and then just passed out, and then just picked up where I left off the next day. So yeah, you'll be able to do that. Just like I said, it is a full walk through the entire thing. It's about as comprehensive as you can get. It won't be obviously as quick and up in shots, you know what I'm saying? It won't be, it'll show everything, but it won't quite so often show things and stopping for too long, because obviously it is a long video as is. But on that, you can watch our previous video for some more up close shots, and we're gonna have a top 5 ball pythons and top 5 other reptiles or animals on Saturday and Sunday. I don't know which one's coming first. One or the other. Sorry, my dog is making weird noises. So look for those. This whole weekend will be, starting today. There's the live, then there's the walkthrough, then there's the top 5 either reptiles or ball pythons, and then the other top 5 on Sunday. So lots of stuff happening. Yeah, so keep an eye out for it. We're really excited. We always love doing this stuff. After that, what's the next week's video? Is that the Halloween video?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we already filmed it. It's, I think, done. I don't think we have to do anything else. And those are obviously, I think the topic is really cool. It's going to be about hybrid ball pythons. And they're incredibly controversial, so we have a little bit of fun with that with our typical Halloween theme. So we have, a little skit that we actually kind of act and whatnot. So it's always fun, so definitely check that out too. So, but yeah, I think that's it. I'll go over it again at the end, of course, but again, so we'll get started here. Let me jump into the comments here. First, let me make sure I'm not going to miss anything. New, not even close. I thought there was one sooner than that. Huh, there is. It got out of order. That's interesting. But that's okay. Only one, I think, got out of order. The first one is going to end in 20 minutes, and it's super close. So, alright, let's see. What is going on? Good more I'm alive, Brandon bro. Hope everything's good with you and the family. Yeah, everything's great. Good to hear you're doing good. I actually will be filming an egg cutting, or more or less revealing, because at least 2 of them are already crawling out as soon as this is over. So yeah, a lot of fun. That one's a really exciting clutch. I hope I get the odds. The 2 that I saw are not the odds, and I got 4 more, so hopefully that is the case. So hey Car, glad you made it. And Morph, I have the winning bid on like 5 animals right now with 24 hours left. Awesome. Good luck. I've got 1 I'm looking at as well. I think it's not too soon. It's pretty soon too. So I'm actually going to be looking at it throughout the auction, I'm sure. I got it right here. Hilltop, how are you doing? Hope you're doing good tonight as well. Again, is time for another collection tour. We've talked about it. I think we will do one, because typically I like to do them with, like, you know, the subs. We never did a 5,000 subs thing. It got so incredibly warm in here. So maybe we'll do one here. I mean, things have changed. I mean, obviously I'm moving on from stuff. The one that we just had a lay today too. I'll be moving on from that one after I get a couple meals into her and such, and make sure she's back on food good. So things will have changed a tad. So I could do one. I could. Little Harper Reptiles, what's going on? Haven't joined one of these in a while. Well, welcome back. Thank you for joining. Alrighty, I think we'll go ahead and jump into it. If I can figure out computer cam. Hey, there we go. So, there are a good amount of auctions today. And the first one is right here. It is ending in 17 minutes. And it is a cinnamon possible calico monsoon. What's cool about this is that, yes, it does have a reserve, but the reserve is at 1,000, and this is only $30 off. And I challenge anyone to find a monsoon female that is at $1,000. Pairing was the cinnamon special het monsoon to a calico coral glow het monsoon. So double, or het to het. That's cool. Both parents were from Dave Green. That does matter if you're like, who is that? Why should I care? It's because he is. I'm not sure if he founded the monsoon. He might have. Darn it, now I'm curious. I'm gonna waste time, even though I said I'm in a hurry and find out. But he's one of the best for monsoon. Let's just say that, if he did not found the entire gene. Soon. Okay. Let's see. Yes, he did. First produced by Dave Green. Wouldn't that be something cool? You're just putting stuff together and you're like, these kind of look weird. I wonder if these 2 together will do anything. And then this hatches out of that pairing. I mean, I would love to be a fly on the wall. You know, if in this day and age now, when you're recording everything and uploading it, to see someone discover something so insane like this. But a lot of people are very careful, of course. So some people are very, very careful and paranoid, and they don't even tell anybody for the longest time until they have a handle on the project. I don't know if I could do that. But yes, so this is essentially from 2 pairings from Dave Green, so it is essentially a kind of the same bloodline lineage of good quality of the original OG. Like I said, I would be very surprised to not see this. I mean, like, the person who bid last here, it says 1,000, so I mean, what's $30, right? So definitely interesting. I'll be popping back here. I mean, it could just go off. Sometimes you get people who aren't paying attention, you know, like they're not the right people are on. It really matters. You know, because we were just at Tinley. Males monsoons have come down, but they're still well above 1,000, just under 2, I think, 1,000. So they're still up there, and this is a female at that, with a little bit of extra to her. So and good quality. So a lot of times I think this might actually be calico, quite frankly, because if you see the sides, oh, I didn't even see there's more pictures. That might help, right? So there we go. So I'm assuming this is the actual one as well. Maybe it was like when it was first born. But anyways, the sides are kind of they're not as raindroppy, right? So that would tell me that I think it might be calico, because if calico pulls up all those whites from the side, and with monsoon, who knows how it would really react. So that could very well be that happening. So hey, morphin time, glad you caught us. We're still on our first one here, which is a monsoon that's $30 away from its reserve, and 13 minutes and 50 or seconds or so from going. So like I said, you'll see me occasionally look forward, is because I'm looking at one of my own too. So all right, so this is a really good opportunity. So I definitely think that that if you want to get into monsoon, I don't think you're gonna find a better deal right now. I'm surprised that ours hasn't already hit it. I would be very surprised to see it not hit that reserve price, quite frankly. But like I said, I've seen weird things. I've seen animals go for over $2,000 one day from a breeder that was a little less known. Not that they're not good, but they were just not as known. And then the next day from a very well-known breeder, the same animal with some extra genes in them went for half as much. Just because the audience isn't the same. You gotta really, when you're doing these auctions, it is heavily buyer-centric favored. So it's good for you as a buyer, but if you are a seller, if you're wanting to take advantage of this, I still think it's good. I just think that you should start your reserve where you want it, and don't compromise, and on the price that you don't want to go less than, that is, and advertise it yourself. Honestly, I think people expect to throw it on here, and Morphmarket being some gigantic megala, snake empire will get it done for you. But that's kind of a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, you're going to more people, but now there's more things to see, and some people just don't check it out every day. I mean, I do these for lives, and I don't check this out every day. So just kind of tell you, if you are a buyer or a seller, just a hint there. So all right, we're gonna move along. Stop talking about all that stuff. Next up is a really, really sharp animal. This being a super orange dream, Enchi het clown female, and you'll see that it says Noco. That is a special line of special. It kind of doesn't make sense, but you get the point. It's kind of its own line of special. I believe it's its own gene and everything. I think that's already been proven. But it is essentially allelic with it. So it is a really sharp version of it, as you can see. When I first clicked on this, I thought it was going to say DG, and then you can tell, I guess it isn't, but it's very, very, very sharp. Really bright, beautiful, and clean animal. Special is something that is incredible when put into the right things, and quite frankly, that's almost always. You can see how awesome these sides are. These like little pitchforks kind of going down. It's like little wrenches or something, with these cool whites just going up throughout it. And then the snake is just incredibly clean and orange, and just really sharp. So that is the sort of thing you can get with that line of special, and special in general, but that line of special, if you want to stand apart, if you want to make a splash, it's coming more down to the quality of the animal. And just because Stranger, I'm going to use Stranger as an example, obviously, go look at Strangers, and you'll see very different animals. You will. I'm almost convinced that there's more than one line at this point of that particular gene. And you'll see animals that definitely almost look like GHI. You can see it, but you're just like, okay. And then there's ones that are just, they are the peak example of it. That's what I'm talking about when you look at quality, and quality matters, and that's what's going to set people apart. So start looking at that. Don't just gene stack everything. That doesn't matter. Well, sure it does, but it's not the primary thing in a market where things are just so, you know, so competitive. Really, it's what's going to stand apart from everything else is your attention to quality. So and it's really what you should want anyways, because even if you're not in it for any other reason but making cool animals, well, the coolest way to do that is to do quality, so over quantity for sure. Occasionally pop back here. So and there is another one here as well, as you can see. In fact, I think I got these out of order. Yeah, I meant to do this one first. It's even more sharp. Both from the same breeder. Yeah, I meant to do the other one first. Both females at that. And they are het clown, by the way. I didn't really go on that too much, but you've got Orange Dreams, Super OD, I think from both. Oops, spoiler. From both of these, so your animals are all going to be Orange Dream at least. But then you've got het clown in there, so it'd be very easy to just get yourself a clown male with some extra oomph to him. Just don't do, see, I don't know exactly how the special line works with the bells. I know I've talked about it in the past, but it is a bell, so just be aware of that, you know, when you're putting things to it. And you know, go to town. So what is this missing that one isn't? Pastel, that's it. One just fell. Yeah. And you just kind of goes to show you how awesome pastel is as well, so. The heck are you licking? Stop it. Yeah, this one's really sharp and clean. This is the one I saw and thought was DG. This is the one I saw and thought was DG. So, dog, stop. I don't know if I like put some like snake stuff because we were cleaning over there and I don't want them licking that. Come here. Go lay down. Lay down. Lay down. There you go. Stop licking random things. Dogs. Anyways, yeah, if you want to stand apart, take a look at these ones. This one ends pretty darn soon, actually, and it's really low. It's really low, so whoever gets this one is gonna be pretty happy, I think. So, for sure. So, let me jump into the comments before I move forward here. I was looking at this one as well, female anyway. The female with pastel. Oh yeah, you were looking at this one, yeah. No, it is solid. It is solid. So there's some interest. 20 bids. This would be a good consolation prize, honestly, because let's face it, how hard would it be to get pastel into this? Not very. So it would still be a very valid one to do, and you might not even want to go that route, but it looks really creamy and nice with it, honestly. And that's just that special working with the pastel there. So look at this blade too, that one. Oh, they both are, yeah. But this is a really cool one. So I definitely, if you had any interest, would say go for it. It's a very nice, beautiful animal. All right, next up, another really high-end animal. At first I thought this was a zebra. It is just a het zebra. Zebras do throw a visible look to them. The hets, that is. It's the same thing with what I work in Striker. They throw well, it's not a recessive, and it's, you know, there's some debate whether this should even be. I don't care. Honestly, they work the same, recessives and incomplete dominants. Essentially, except for hets or recessives, obviously don't really show themselves in one copy. We won't get into that today. The point of the matter is that it's already a really nice, gorgeous animal, and it would be something really cool to work with the zebra gene. And zebra, honestly, this is a really good example of just the het. It's pretty close to what it does. It creates all these bands. It just, like, this probably wouldn't be one. This would just be one. If you get the drift. Especially when you get yellow belly into it. If you want to see a lot of zebras, we cover a lot of them in our ball python video coming out this weekend. So there was a lot of really great ones at the show. You can see kind of what I'm talking about with where you can go with stuff like this. With this, the Firefly is obviously fire and pastel. It's an iconic combo there. So a really good boy here, from a good breeder of these. Originally, when I started seeing zebra, this is who I started seeing them from first, at least in person, when I was going to the Tinley shows. I haven't seen them there in a while though, but so really cool animal. Another really cool project that's becoming more affordable if you wanted to get in on this, there is some interest. It will go, I don't know, honestly. It's a really cool one. It's a high expression het. I'll just say that. What was the pairing? Does it say it? Yeah. It's so high expression, I almost just question so it would not in a bad way either. Like hey, maybe you got a low expression visual. I don't know. So, but they would know more than me, I'm certain. So, Travis, yeah, it's a pretty nice one. All right, like I said, I'm gonna pop back and forth. 4 minutes left. Still nothing. Like I said, I'll be occasionally preoccupied here. All right, moving along. A really nice one here. These are coming down. The acid clowns, especially for the boys. They are incredible animals, and I highly recommend either acid or confusion. They are more than just a pattern exploder, a head exploder, and this is a good picture to show you that. It really brings in all these awesome oranges. You can see this right here, and it brings in granulation to the pattern as well. So they are pretty sharp. Let me see the other pictures here. Sometimes they show the belly. I feel like it should be mandatory. It should be mandatory when you get an acid or confusion, or the other one, I think it's the static, to show these because the bellies, they have belly pattern. So quite often they are really the only ones that, most of the only ones that do that pretty regularly. And they look like hognose bellies, so it's pretty incredible. Acid kind of messes up the pattern, so does leopard. Sometimes you might think that those eat each other up, but they do not. They work together quite well. So that is a really nice one to do. So if you wanted to start working acid through your collection, what better way to do than this? I paid a bit more than this for mine, and I don't even have leopard in mine, so just food for thought. Alrighty. I'll be really surprised. I'll be really, really surprised. Sometimes I feel like people don't read this, and this is why I almost often caution. Personally, I would just set your auction at your reserve, personally. And if it doesn't get bids, then, well, okay, oh, there's one. Let's bid the whole 10. Come on. They reset the 3 minutes now, if you just noticed, so. Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on it. Next up are a couple sunsets. I think I saw some more sunsets on here too, so keep an eye out. This is from Captive Bred Specialties. They're really good with sunsets. That's one of the biggest ones they work. But this being a female too, at a very good price with 24 hours left. And again, from another really good breeder of these. Pairing was a leopard sunset to a banana butterhead sunset. Shame none of those other ones hit. I'm sure that in the other eggs they hit some of those and they just kept them. Banana sunsets are one of my favorites. Right now the Ultramil sunset is my favorite that has been made to this date. Specifically one from Leviathan, which will also be in our video, so check it out. But yeah, it's just a really cool opportunity to get into these. Prices, like I said, are starting to come down. So, sorry, I got out. Let's see here. Why is it not telling me then? Don't mind me. But prices are starting to come down on these, which is great because more people will be able to get to work them. And it kind of makes sense. As the regular animals start to become more available, people are working them more often. It kind of just supply and demand. Obviously, a single gene animal is only going to hold its value for so long, no matter how rare it is, because it won't be rare forever. So, all right, there we go. Sorry. But you know, if you wanted to work sunset, this is a wonderful opportunity to do that. Got a minute left on this one here. Like I said, I'm just surprised. Getting into monsoon for a female at that, a visual female for 1,000, is something that some people would die for. Not literally, but this one, however, will go and has a lot of interest. There's no reserve on this, so I anticipate this to grow a little bit more for sure, and we'll see where that leads us. But really cool opportunity for a sunset. if anybody was interested. I'm going to hold it right here since it's only 30 seconds left so we can take a look. We'll see what happens. Sometimes people wait. I don't know why you would wait on one with a reserve, though, because then nobody's going to win. Looks like it's just going to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And refresh it just to make sure. That's what they had it listed for. It was 2,000, by the way. So it was going to be half off, basically. So that was not bad. So got to get the right people on, though. But that's okay. You set the reserve so that you're protected. You know, maybe they're probably like, come on, $10, I would have been fine with that. But, you know, that's kind of what you get. So, that being said, maybe some people, you know, they see the reserve, so they just hold it. So, although there's no reserve now, because it's no longer on auction. So, all right, let's jump into it. Well, Clark, how are you? Grim Reaper Reptiles. I think I'm still the highest bidder on this one I'm at. We'll see. I haven't shown you all, but it's the Het Monarch, so. Alright. One more sunset here, another female at that. I'm surprised. I mean, maybe it's just because this is captive bred and they might be a little more well known. But I mean, nothing wrong with them. They get great reviews. And it's got inchy in there as well. Sometimes some people don't want to work the inchy version of it because of one of the first sunsets, but I think it's fine. I've seen some really nice ones actually now. And this one's pretty nice too. It's 200 grams nearly. Got some really nice coloring. Again, a female at that, so you grow her up and you already got a visual female right there. So, yeah, a couple sunsets here. This is really surprising. Same exact amount of time, and you get a tale of two different stories. I mean, I guess if you're, you know, if you're hopping off one to the other, if one gets too out of control in price, which this one will balloon more, you jump back over here. But let's see, the pairing was Pastel Inchy double het, DG sunset to a het sunset. So just a negative for DG. So all right. But yeah, really cool animal. If you're into the sunset, this is a good place to start. Good prices. So, alrighty. Next, I'm gonna see which one, how much time this one had. All right, next up is something I do not see on the auctions hardly ever. There is a reserve, and God knows how much this reserve is. Honestly, it could be considerable, to be completely honest with you. But the point. The matter is that it's the Bang gene. It's one that was, I think, more started overseas and has started to come over here. It's not very common. You don't see very much of them, and they are pricey at times. Let me see here if I can't find some of them. Yeah, there you go. They are pricey. Now you might think, like, why, right? Well, when they're put into combos, you can get some oranges that are just not something that you normally see. There's the super bangs, I think is what I think there's a super form of it. Let me see. I don't think I can actually click on it. It's just going to take me straight to this page with a bunch of them on there. But you should never get into a project just because of that. And plus, again, we don't know what the reserve price is. But it's a pretty sharp looking animal. I mean, obviously pastel yellow bellies do not normally look like that. You can kind of see the oranges flaming up from the side here, right there. That's a pretty big indicator of it. That's something very, very unique to this particular morph. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So normally you get the flaming from it being more white, right? Something like that. So it's a very orange gene. Let's just put it that way. And you get it into the right combos. It's very, very sharp. There's still a lot to be said that can be done with this as well. So, are you bidding on the Mojave Clown Het Monarch? Yes. Yes, indeed I am. So, see. So I got some other ones too that I've been looking at, but they're a really good price. So I've got double hets here, and I've needed to. It'll be a couple years before they're ready, and I just actually bought one too. Can you actually hand me that one? The new one that I got from Bob. I've got a bunch of double hets. And what the hell? Where'd your owl mask go? But I just you know, obviously increasing your odds is somewhere where I want to be. And on that, I got a female here that is a double het monarch clown that is also leopard and hurricane from Bob's Balls. So pretty pumped about this one here. Getting hurricane into that combo is something I definitely want to do, and from such a quality breeder. Believe it or not, this is my first Bob's Balls produced animal. But that is fine. Here you go. Yeah, he's not an owl man now, he's a skeleton. Papyrus, if you don't know the game. Thank you, Jenny. Like I said, if I go quiet, it's because I'm bidding. Here. Yes, the owl man cometh. Did you catch Rice Reptile's Palm Street Auctions a few weeks ago? They had a visual market that no one bid on, a visual monarch. I did not. Sometimes, I don't know what it is. Palm Street doesn't always remind me. I love Palm Street. I'm actually registered to sell, so at some point I might do a live on there, quite frankly. Would like to. I just need more animals to do it. You know what I mean? I want at least like a bit, right? I mean, the minimum I could consider doing is 5, you know, because I could just talk, just like I do here, right? And you know, I'd prefer like around 10, but right now it's kind of slim pickings and such. It's a very slow year, which I'm actually okay with. You know, so, but yeah, I would have very much liked to see them, if I knew that, so, that'll happen too, though. Palm Street is an interesting thing. It's not, I wouldn't say something where you go and sell high-end stuff, and that's okay. It's kind of that mid-range in a way, people kind of building up, so, you know, I wouldn't expect too much. The highest one I've ever seen sell was a monsoon, actually. And that monsoon went for, I mean, was it a year ago? I don't even remember, but I mean, I think it went for $4,000. Yeah, pretty sure, $4,000. And I think it had a little more to it. It's from Jersey Guy Balls too, so, still really cool. And I always like seeing them jumping in there. So one of my favorite ones isn't even animals I work, but I do keep some, is the Pangea. I always like doing them. They have really good shows, so. But yeah, I'll have to go on there and kind of follow them so it tells me it a little bit better, I guess, right? We'll see if it if it works this time. So, but back to this one here. What am I looking at?
You're still in full cam.
Am I?
Yeah.
How long have I been on full cam?
Well, I switched over when you're showing the other snake, so.
Oh. Yeah, you gotta tell me that. I am very not observant when it comes to that. I would have just started going. Back to the animal. It's a really cool project. I have no idea what the reserve is going to be, though. I mean, if I'm honest with you, it could be pretty high. You know, they could just be flexing. Who knows? But they did make it available, and which means it'll probably go for cheaper. I mean, than it normally would. Definitely something, like I said, to consider. If you wanted to work something so crazy, but I do not think that it will go for a very cheap amount. So, I mean, the reserve price will determine that, of course, in the end. I think I won this sucker. Let's see. It didn't update, but it says on hold. I'm pretty sure I won it. Not the gene I would normally pick. I would like to do spot nose with it, but the price was just something I couldn't pass up on. And realistically, it's about getting a visual clown, het monarch. That is the big thing that I'm looking at here, because I increased my odds incredibly rather than going het double het to double het. That would be not great, because so now at least I know everything with clown is 50-50, and then I got a 1 in 4 on that monarch, so I increased my odds considerably doing this. Yep, I won. I'll have to take care of that here in a little bit, so I'll go ahead and show you all, I guess. I think it's here. Where is it? There it is. It's mine. I don't think I've ever done one where I won one in the middle of the auction video, but I won this just now. Again, it's you know, the Mojave part is it'll be interesting. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a Mojave Monarch, but I like the Mojave GHIs, and I plan to work GHI in the Monarch, so especially since I'm working clowns, that might work out really well, actually. But it, like I said, it increases my odds considerably. And this was just a crazy steal. So pairing was a spot nose monarch. Hey, you know, just for the heck of it, I might throw this in for a shed test just to see, because if this was spot nose, it's not, but if it was, so thank you, I appreciate it. Oh, you didn't have to do that. Thank you, though. If you were gonna work something like that, by no means am I hurting for nothing. So, morphin time 1 in Enchi double het hypo sunset female last week. That'll be pretty sharp. Like you said, I'm aiming to get sunset and some regards added. I want it to go through Monarch though. That will be pretty much it. I won't probably work sunset as a specialty, if that makes sense. It'll be worked just into Monarchs. So I will have some sunsets at times, but it will be more or less just we're gonna work it into the Monarch stuff. So I guess, yeah, you are, but it's not the prime goal, just because I do like sunset, but I have so much room, so yes. But yeah, I'm pretty happy about it, so. All right, let's continue along, and thank you again, Travis. I think I said thank you. All right, single gene ultra male, but a proven breeder female at that, and from again another great breeder, Brock Wagner. It's a big old proven breeder female. Of course, it doesn't say when it laid last. It's very likely it laid and has had a few meals already, so it'll be get some meals into it. But of course, you can always ask to see when it laid last, so that way you know when it's ready to go. But you know it's got good quality, and it's a proven breeder, so it's gonna go for a little bit cheaper these days. Proven breeders, just in single genes, that is, have come down. But if you want to work something really cool, for whether it's just kind of learning and getting your feet wet, so a lot of people, you know, they want to start breeding, they're interested, but they're scared, and I don't blame them, because you're messing with life, right? So the way to do that is to get experience. Now, how do you get experience? It's you know, do you buy a bunch of high-end animals and then grow them up, and then just be nervous for 3 years while they grow, and oh my god, I didn't even have a clutch under? That's how you're supposed to do it, is grow them up. But I actually think that it's a really good idea to get a few proven breeders, so that you can get some experience, and that's it. It's once you realize, it's actually pretty easy, and very, very rewarding. But you don't have to make normals. You don't have to make single gene animals that are you know, just like some enchies and pastels and stuff like that. You don't need to do that anymore. You can still have fun and make pretty decent cool things while buying these proven breeders for much cheaper than they were when I was buying some of them, quite frankly. Like I said, not only are you achieving that knowledge and learning and hands-on experience, which is the most important experience of anything, but you're doing cool things. You're making pretty cool things. Ultra males will sell because they look cool, because they're unique, just like pieds will sell, just like bananas will sell, these sorts of things. So yeah. Doesn't look like you have a tab for it, but look at the 8 ball that has 47 minutes left. It has a white lip. Get it? Black matter. Take a look. It should pop up on this main screen here, actually. Oh, if you all heard that, Jesus. You get some oil on my neck or something. What was it again? 8 ball. Maybe it's on the next page? Or am I just blind? I must be blind. I'm blind, aren't I? Oh, yeah, I'm blind. Very, very nice. You don't always see these two mixed. You usually just see one cinnamon and one black pastel, but I see what you're saying there, the white lip. Really cool. You know what's funny is that the one I was mentioning in the black matter, I believe it has Barnhart Black Pastel, and I think it had a copy of cinnamon. So I wonder if those two combined together. I could be very wrong. But yeah, definitely a very cool little white lip type thing there. The fact that it's het lav and het pied is pretty cool too, even if it's in a male, because then you're working possible dreamsicles with this, and then you're always getting one of them, so that's pretty cool. So I take it oh no, there's no bids on that one, so interesting. All right, where were we? We did the ultra mill, yes, so that one will sell, no doubt, but I don't think it'll go for a whole bunch. The next one here I think has a reserve, and again I don't know if it'll meet it or beat it. Never seen a Dark Knight on here before. I don't think. That is not ringing a bell. It is a chocolate cinnamon spot nose, this particular one here. And they are just really stunning. So I think Justin with Canova made a Dark Knight Monarch, actually. Yeah, because when he was doing his... if you're a VIP member, I think it's on Patreon of his, you can get... he invites you down there, I think once or twice a year. I think there's one of the two that you get in there, and you can go down to his facility, and I think that these were hatching and on the spot, and he hit it with a bunch of people there. So yeah, my buddy was there actually. So really cool animal though. I've seen one of these in person before. Sadly, it had a birth defect. Somebody hit one in the Chicagoland region or something like that. So, and they had sold it to someone else as a pet, which I think it lived a good life, but it would not be a breeder by any means. But it's a cool pet to have, especially if it can live fine. It just had a weird little defect with it. So, but this one doesn't. And if you want to start working those sorts of projects, well, you can take a shot at this one here. Again, no idea what the reserve price is, but I always say bid to where you're comfortable, but don't jump it straight up. So let's just say you're comfortable with, I don't know, 500. I have no idea if that's going to be it. Don't just bid 500. Bid like literally in $25 increments. It's going to take that long. So 125, 150, 175. You get the point until you get to that point where you're done. Because you're going to pay it anyways, right? So you stop right there. You stop right there. And then you just let it go. No reserve. If the reserve wasn't meet, you don't pay for it unless somebody else takes the baton and runs with it. You don't got to worry about it. And if you do meet it, let's just say you met it at 400. Well, if you just type 500, you wasted $100. It's not like it's gonna bid up there. It can with certain features nowadays. So I don't know how that works with reserves, but you kind of get the picture. So you'd need to at least beat the reserve first before it just did that. So we just bid it up there, and then you can place that little that new bidding system where it'll auto bid everybody out. So alrighty, let's see here. I'm gonna get a few more, I think. This one's really nice. Inchy Blade Lavender Batman, and the Batman is a leopard spot nose clown, one of the most iconic combos out there. The fact that it's a lavender clown as well makes this a grail. So it is a grail Batman that also has Inchy and Blade. Really sharp looking animals. They have an incredible amount of contrast. You're just kind of almost like photo negative of this. It's really cool, really sharp. Look at the oranges and whatnot. Lavender is really great for aging in this stuff. It doesn't turn into a two-toned yellow. It has more lavenders coming in there, so pretty sharp. I love the head stamps. All of the nice, these are going to embolden with age and become more lavender. Just love this stripe down the back of it. So sharp, so cool. And that'll kind of expand out too. Let's see if we get more pictures there too, a little bit. So again, another reserve, but just what I said applies here too. Cool thing about this boy here is it is basically breeding size, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, you would pretty much be able to just get them ready to go pretty soon. A lot of boys at this age can, quite frankly, breed there. You know, sometimes I like to get them to about 750 myself, but I mean, when they're mature, they're mature. They can go. So, and I honestly don't have really the same issues. I've seen it occasionally when the boys will go off food during breeding, but very rarely. They are usually no problem eating for me. I don't have very much of a problem getting my males to eat. They don't really go off food. And I think that's because I changed the way I feed them. For males, adults anyways, I do not feed them weekly. It is like every other, because I don't think that's necessary. And I'm starting to pay attention to a little bit more research and people, what they're saying about even the females and how you maybe shouldn't do that. And I'm having way more feeding responses, way better feeding responses than would I be if I'm feeding every week, quite frankly. They just want to eat more, and they will eat more. They won't go on long fasting cycles too. So anyways, I got off topic a tad bit, but either way, this is basically a proven, or not proven, but a ready to breed male that is a grail with Batman, the spot nose, and the leopard in there, and then it's got that nice inchy, which always goes really well with that, creating some sharp looks and that cool head stamp too. So pairing was an inchy spot nose grail. So not likely spot nose, but you know, with all that other stuff going on in there, who knows, right? Still a really cool animal. All right, next up, I think we've got one or two more, three more after this one, and then two more. Don't pay attention to that. That's just me showing you stuff. It's about this one too, though. But this is a female mahogany black pastel het pied. Really awesome pattern, definitely awesome color to this. I love black black pastel and what it can do, but you know, with itself, obviously you can get a little bit of kinking issues. So I think you see where I'm going with this. Mahogany is the interesting gene here. When you get the two of them together, you still get an incredibly dark snake, and yes, it does mess that pattern up pretty fiercely. Just wanted to see how much time. I'm not sure if we'll be on for that one, but we'll see. It does mess that pattern up pretty fiercely. This is a really stark looking animal. Very, very beautiful. But if you get yourself a male visual pied, probably, I mean, it's not going to cost that much, that's mahogany. And maybe blackhead. Honestly, I think that would be pretty sharp. Get blackhead in there. And breed that to this one. You have a decent chance of hitting some really cool stuff. This one right here is a Suma pied. This is a adult too, actually, and you can see how well they age up. I love the mahogany pied, or the Suma pieds, quite frankly, more. It's the Suma is the super mahogany. That's what the SU and the MA stands for. Super mahogany. Cute, right? But they are far more interesting to me. What do you need to go outside? Can you let them out? You crying? You go. But they have this stark black throughout them, but there's more of a almost paradoxing type thought or look to them, because they've got this dark black throughout it, but then they've got this almost stained wood that just wasn't applied correctly going throughout it. You can kind of see there. I've seen some crazy looking ones. This is a Suma black pastel, so we were just talking about the one with black pastel right there. So if you put that to it and you hit the whole thing, this is about as pitch black as you can get. Better than any of them. They're incredible. Now imagine you also get the blackhead in there too, like I was suggesting. That's how you do it, and then you don't have to get super black pastels, the ones that can cause kinking, and quite frankly, the panda pieds, they're awesome, but black pastel takes pattern away from pied. So they're often very, very, very high white. And sometimes they're so high white that they are literally an all white snake. Now that would suck to go through all that and just hit an all white snake. So mahogany itself is just a really cool gene, even when you're not hitting the visuals. You can kind of see here this pile of awesomeness. So trying to see if they showed a panda pied at any point, but I don't think they do. So either way, you can kind of see. Oh, there you go. I think that's panda pied. Yeah, you can see what I mean. This is actually a pretty high pattern panda pied with the blacks right there. That's just super black pastel. But usually they are very, very high white. Like I said, sometimes so high white that they're just ate up all the pattern. So, but that's what I'm thinking of when I see something like this. You saw that really stark black one, even as just the Suma, which is the super mahogany black pastel. It was so dark. So I think that's the best way to work it. It's better, quite frankly. You're not gonna have you're gonna have more pattern. And the Suma, when you just hit those as well, are gonna be really cool because, like I said, they have that kind of that splash of color all throughout it, almost like a paradoxy type of look, but it's not. So, have you seen the obsidian from Wilbanks? Is there one available? Or I think I know what you're talking about. I'm pretty certain I do, but I didn't know if there was one available on this obsidian. Wilbanks, is it? You out there?
Yes.
Okay. Holy smokes. You know what? I saw some obsidians at the show, but they were different. They had extra things in them. So I'm not sure if this is one gene or not, or if it's a combination. But we saw ones that were pretty darn dark there. And what were they called? I think it had obsidian slash, like its own little name, because it's like their own. It's not a black background, it just blends in. That is dark. That is dark. Yeah, that's pretty dark. It's not auction, but it's listed. It's a combo. That's what I thought. I thought it was a combo, and they're maybe a little protective over what's in it, I think. Or maybe theirs is just that blackhead Suma. Yeah, and that's basically what I was saying. So that is what the combo's name is. Okay, yeah, I thought I had heard about it. Now I know what it is, because one of my friends there, I think they're moving this weekend or something like that, and they just got eggs from something that could create obsidian pieds. So that I am vicariously living through him, and I'm excited for that clutch, and it's not mine. So yes, now I remember. So yeah, and blackhead is one of my favorite genes by a lot. So maybe we will be on. This would be a solid pickup for somebody, especially if they get this steel. So yeah, this is one I highly recommend. I mean, especially if it stays here in this price range. It's not even. I mean, I'll buy it if it's $5. So definitely a cool animal. Like I said, all you really need is a visual pied. You technically you get a het pied, but why? Get a visual pied mahogany, and while you're at it, get one with blackhead so you can make that obsidian awesomeness. So, all right, got two more here, and then maybe we'll see how much time I've got. So it's kind of in a hurry, but we'll see. All right, leopard orbit. Now, wait, no, there's only one more. I'm sorry. The other one is me showing you off the orbit gene. So, the orbit is a genetic that, again, it's not something that a lot of people work. It's kind of like how I was saying with the bang. It's a little less known. It's starting up and coming. There's still a lot that needs to be answered with it. Now this is a boy. I do not know if it's a proven breeder. Produced his first clutch this year with a Cypress Ghost. So yes, it is a proven breeder. This boy has indeed locked, so you'd be able to get going. I took advantage of a deal similar to this, but I did it with Hydra. So mine was a blackhead, I think it was blackhead, yeah, blackhead Hydra Fire. And when it had blackhead in it, I was just like, yes, please. And I'm really pumped about that. So Orbit is I wouldn't say it's like that, but it's kind of, it fills the same niche where it's still got a lot of answers, questions that need to be answered. Although I think Orbit might be even newer to the block. You can see there's not a whole lot of them. Their price for the most part is up there. This is the one being bid on. Does not have a reserve on it either. So normally, obviously, I want to work things and have a recessive of some sort. With something new like this, that's not how it works. Excuse me. You gotta kind of make those hets yourself, and that's what I'm doing with the Hydra myself. I paired it to some stuff, including a red stripe clown, a visual clown, so I can get my own hets and hopefully get a Hydra red stripe blackhead. That is what I want. I can take or leave fire for that matter. I just don't want fire in two of the holdbacks. If I get a male and a female, I definitely do not want fire. But that's kind of where I'm going with this, is that's how you'd want to work it. You'd want to spread this throughout your collection, so it's good that it's in a male. It would be nice if it had a het, but it would be probably more and maybe not even available, quite frankly, because then you could start going for visuals right off the bat with a het for something, right? Whatever you wanted to go with. And Orbit kind of creates these cool little, well, orbits in many different ways. You can kind of see it here, especially. This is one of the first ones I saw, kind of these little planets and such like that. There's just a lot of cool variety with them. It's definitely a little bit lesser known one, but that's kind of the point. You grab a gene like this and you work it and you answer those questions while making cool things. And that's where a lot of the reward is, and that's where a lot of fun is too, because you start to answer some of these questions, not just for yourself, but for really the whole community. Make a lasting contribution, and see what works. And even when you find things that don't work, that's valuable information. It's very valuable information. For example, I have Pixel in my collection, and it happens to be a het genetic stripe. The person who sold it to me had made Pixel genetic stripes and advised me that probably wasn't the greatest thing, because it pulls the pattern, and that's what Pixel's known for, is all that cool pixelated pattern. So it pulls the pattern, so it kind of takes away from it. That was their recommendation. Of course, it has all the genetics there needed for me, so I could do that. But he said it just, he had done it, and I appreciated that. It was incredibly valuable knowledge for me. That's the sort of stuff, even when you get negative results. But Orbit's a really cool gene from what I've seen. I think we covered it in the past as a little lesser known gene. Some of these, maybe an up and coming one. Really nice, sharp animal, pretty dark too. For a proven breeder, that's the leopard, of course, doing that. But proven breeder adult still looks pretty darn nice. So we'll leave it with these ones here. Just another a cool boy that you could maybe splash it up and add some uniqueness to your collection. If you are interested in the Orbit, well, you can easily just click on the that's the wrong one. There we go. Traits tab over here on Morphmarket. It's really cool. There you go. Look at that. You just click here. It tells you a lot about it. So this is the ones that, yes, I remember this now. I remember seeing this exact picture. That is a really cool animal. That's a pretty darn cool animal. Lots of granulation in there. I think we covered it as sort of a form of that. So I just can't remember. I remember covering it in one of our videos though. But something pretty cool. Definitely unique. So, all right, I think that's all we've got for the day. It's got 11 minutes left. We'll see if anything comes in this. So, I think it's too controversial, but what's your opinion on Scrambler? Well, I don't work it myself. I'm not aware of too much controversy around it myself. I don't know if people think it's not a gene or not. I have seen definitely very awesome looking animals that they're labeled as Scrambler. So I think Chris Hernan was working a lot of that. So I think it's cool. It's not the one that I have right now, and I have no plans for it or anything like that. Not that, sometimes plans just fall into your lap and such like that, but yeah, I guess I'm not aware of too much of that one, honestly, if there was controversy around it. I'm curious. Blur ball. Because I've seen them in person at the show, and they look pretty cool. I know a lot of people say possible scrambler and stuff like that, so maybe it's like something like that, right? Maybe it's something where people are kind of like, think about the blade, right? Everybody says blade, and I'm still to this day like, what? I'm not gonna lie, like blade that does not compute with me sometimes. I view it as basically Enshi, but it is its own thing. So but to this day, I'm kind of like, I don't know. When I first started, everybody said the blade was a form of clown. Like, believe it or not, that's what people said. It had to be attached to clown. You either had blade clowns or you did not have blade. So I don't know if it's kind of like one of those or anything like that, but see, I can't find much on it. But I have seen that where people say, let's see here. Established its own gene with some disagreement of its legitimacy as a distinct trait. Not on good old AI. Not on the same level as the spider morph debate. Thank you, AI. But yeah, I mean, I guess that's where it would come from, is whether it's, because I have heard people say that, like, it could be it's possible it might have it. And then when you start to get lots of genes in there, it's more or less kind of just like a little bit of a spice, right? And that's okay. So, any pairings you're about to do have just done that you're hyped for? Well, the ones that are hatching right now as we speak, I'm pretty hyped for. There's two of them with their heads out. I can say they're not visual clowns, but it is a why can't I remember their things? It's a Stranger Yellow Belly Het Clown that I got from Spartan Pythons. Two, a GHI Spot Nose Clown that's Het Hypo that I got from Canova. That one's hatching, and we'll be looking at it today. Also got some Monarch stuff coming up for next year. I've got some Confusion Clown to some like Leopard Clown stuff. Still going through the Monarch stuff, but the main one for next year I'm probably excited about. By next year I mean starting the pairings now, and have already had 2 locks, and I think he's in there right now with her. It'd be a GHI Black Pastel Red Stripe Yellow Belly Clown to that same GHI Spot Nose Clown Het Hypo. When I first got her, she was she 50 or 60% Het Hypo? She did not prove out, sadly. But if she had, that would have been pretty sick. But yeah, I'm going for that Pompeii mix with GHI in the mix, though, too. Regardless of what I get, I'll love everything. I can guarantee you that. The cool thing about working Pompeii is that when you miss, you're still landing in the stars. That's what I love about that. As long as you work within certain parameters. And they're both visual clowns, so I am going to be working within those parameters. So pretty excited about that. That one. And then, of course, just growing my Monarchs up. More excited for the Monarch puzzles that I'll get in maybe 2 years, hopefully. It's head to head, and I only got 2 of them, so the chances are not the greatest, but I do have chances. All the Monarch clown stuff that I'll be doing, really excited about that. So, and then I'm also excited about some of my non-ball python stuff, like with growing up some of these hogs. They're starting to get some down size to them now that I learned that everything that I learned was wrong. And that's okay, by the way. When you learn things, you can often learn that you were wrong. And I thought that they had lesser appetites. Boy, was I wrong. I could show you one right now, and it would try to eat anything that I put in front of it. Anything. When I open it up, it begins to eat the side of its container. That is literally not a joke. They eat everything, and they eat more often. So once I realized that, they started growing like weeds. So they're going to come along. And then my African house snakes, I have very quickly fallen heads over heels for them. Very quickly. I have plans to continue with them too. They're awesome. They are so intelligent. I can hold them, and they know the difference between me and food. They're just that intelligent. They're thinking, and the reason for that is because with a ball python, for example, they're ambush predators. So they are going bam when they think they have food. They're not going to chase it down. African house snakes are, they're not colubrids really, but they're a lot of people thought they were. They're actually more related to black mambas, but without the death sauce, and cobras and such. So they chase their prey. So they're making a decision. So that decision-making process is what allows them to be so intelligent. Not that bull pythons can't be, but let's face it, they can be some derps sometimes. And again, when you are an animal that relies on ambush, you have very little time sometimes to make a decision that could be life or death, the choice between eating and starvation. Whereas when you chase your food because you are a super rope that can move very fast, that way you can make some decisions and maybe even call off the strike if you want, so to speak. They're incredibly nice. They're cool to hold. They're not, I mean, they can be fast, and as babies they will be a little bit faster, but very quickly they calm down, and they are then nearly ball python tame in your hands, easily handleable. They look like pythons, quite frankly. So yeah, I'm heads over heels for them. So those are the things I'm excited about for sure. I think the controversy is whether it's an actual gene or a line bred trait. That tracks with what I was thinking then. So and that's okay, honestly. Either way, I might as well wait. It did pop up there in price a little bit too. Either way, I think that's cool because, I mean, look at this. A lot of times we're finding out these line bred traits are a form of a gene that already existed, but it's its own line. So, Black Pastel and Barnhart Black Pastel. This one right here that we're looking at actually right now, that special NoCo, that's still cool and extraordinary, and that's how you learn and find out. You know what I mean? So obviously you say, hey, I found something. And that's your first thing. This is something. It is something identifiable. It's something reproducible. And I am seeing a difference in these. So there is something. There's something there in those. It is a fact. What is its own gene? Is it attached to a certain other gene? Is it like part of something? I mean, I don't work it, so I really can't say. But it is something. And that's okay. That's cool still. When you find that out, like for the longest time, everybody thought Barnhart Black Pastel was its own, like it's just a line of Black Pastel. It's the same gene. I mean, effectively, they're still allelic with each other, but it is its own gene. Looking at it under a microscope, science tells us that it is its own gene. So, either way, I think it's something valuable that can be learned from, and something that can definitely enhance certain projects that it's in. But again, with all that said, I don't work it myself, and I don't have too many plans to work it myself. Again, you never know how things could plan. What it would work for in me, if I was going to do it, probably, and I only have a small splash of this, is my dreamsicle projects. I only have literally a very, very, very small splash of dreamsicle that I plan to work. I suppose that's another one that she might go this year. She finally started eating better. I'm looking up there like she can hear me. But she's a blackhead, lavender, and what the heck else is she? Is she yellow belly? I think she is. Yeah, she's yellow belly. I got her from Justin as well, and she's het pied. So, that'll be a cool one that I'm excited for as well. My girlfriend and I are about to do our first pairing since I have a hatchling rack now. Congratulations. It is very fun. It's very exciting. Just enjoy it. So, do you breed your own rodents? I do. XRF. I don't breed enough I don't breed enough of them to completely, how do I word this? I don't breed enough of them to completely run a breeding operation, I would say. So I do supplement it with other ones. But let's just say I were to shut it all down for a little bit and just wait. I would be very comfortable with the amount I produce for the most part. Other than maybe babies, but then of course if I shut it all down I wouldn't have them, you know what I mean, for just a bit. But I would feel comfortable with my breeders, with the amount I would be able to feed them, with how much I produce. I still supplement a lot of them, especially the smaller ones, because I like to grow them up. I will buy still bigger ones to feed to the males and females though still. So I mostly produce a completely sustainable amount. But I do have to supplement. I would like to upgrade that myself. We've been trying to plan doing our shed and changing it around so that we can take all the rodents out there and do it there. But the big thing with that is heating and cooling the place, especially cooling. They're all the rats you have around here are Norwegian rats, so they're more suited for cold, so it can get a little colder. Plus it's a lot easier to heat things, I think, in my opinion. But cooling is tough. I've heard many things where you can actually just, as long as there's moving air, that it's fine no matter how hot it gets. But can get hot. It can get really hot up here, and it can get really cold up here. It's like we don't get anything in between. We get every season, and every little splash of everything. So especially being off Lake Michigan, so darn close to us, the Great Lakes there are basically their own weather system. So yeah, that's something I'd like to do though. I would like to get that situated. It's just the heating and whatnot. So what is your rodent breeding setup like? Honestly, it's pretty bare bones right now. I do have all of the equipment. I do. I have not ARS racks, but I have tub-based systems out in that shed right now, ready to go. But they're in tanks right now. I have them on a rack that I bought from a hardware store, and I have them in actual tanks right now with water bottles over the top of it and everything like that, so you can see them. If you see some of our old videos, you can actually see how I have them. So you can see them in there and whatnot. I actually really like rats. I really do. I often will try to pick out ones that are the nicest and keep them as breeders and such like that. I really do like them. Although you gotta watch out for the mamas sometimes. Whew, if you've ever had a rat bite, I can tell you right now, the bite sucks. There's nibbling, there's you can tell if they're warning you, there's little things like that, but when they go for you, you might as well have taken a staple gun to your finger. And I mean that with no exaggeration. It sucks. I've been breeding my own for about 7 months now. 15 sets of 3 breeding females. 3 males get cycled around. You see, I've cycled in the past too when I've run low. And males well, I shouldn't say run low. It sounds weird, but sometimes I'll just not have one to source. So I'll just kind of cycle them in there. Sell a couple hundred excess every month or two. I only have 30 stinks right now. See, that's what I'd like to do. I'd like to sell them myself as well, to supplement them. We had a really cool pet store in the area about a year, maybe a year and a half ago at this point. Time moves so quick nowadays, that I had a really good relationship with, where they were finally starting to breed their own and everything like that too. I got a lot of mine supplemented through there, and so did a lot of people in the region. And then when it was a family-run business, they decided to retire basically. And well, that left a huge hole in the area. So, and I had already started breeding my own, but it became pretty tough for a lot of people. We are picking up a breeding colony of ASFs from Keeper Cane tomorrow to start our own colony. I've done ASFs in the past as well. I like them more than mice, but they do suffer from the same problem as mice. I've changed my opinion on this. When I first started, I was very not wanting ASFs. I think it's a myth, quite frankly. I'll just tell you right now. I do not believe that snakes like ASFs more than they like, say, mice. I think that they key on ASFs the same as mice, and I have proof of that because my lavender that I was just talking about, She is, sometimes I can trick her into taking a rat, but she has been a mouser her whole life. But she'll take an ASF, the same, exact, and then she'll go back to mouse, and and so forth. And then I just once a month, maybe not even, maybe once every other month, I can trick her with a rat and just and get her to eat that. But I'll just feed her whatever she wants. So she took a little bit longer to get the size because of that, but that's okay. Don't really mind it, but I do like ASFs more because I think their behavior is better. I didn't think that once. I think I just had a really skittish one. And I think that they're bigger than mice as well, and mice have more of a tendency to just absolutely cannibalize their entire colony. Like, you'll go in there and everything will be fine. You think you got it all good, and then just all of a sudden it's like, it is like, what's that thing when all the kids got stuck on the island? What's that book? Johnny, I'm talking to you. What's that book where they got stuck on the island? And the kids. Lord of the Flies. That's mice. That's keeping mice. I don't care for mice. They got a weird smell to them too. ASFs are cooler. They're smarter, and they're not as willing to cannibalize, although they will do it. But the problem I was alluding to that they have is that they seem to have a shelf life. Yeah, rats do too, but it's longer. They can last a lot longer. ASFs and mice, it's about 6 to 9 months max, I think, if that. In some cases, mice seem to be even less, and then they're done. They're done. They're just done, and they won't breed anymore, and that's it. So that's my only issue with them. But I mean, it just changes, I guess, how quickly you're replacing them, I suppose. So you have them in the house? If so, how's the smell? Have you had any escapes? I want to bring my own ASFs, but I have to keep them in the house. Wife's not too thrilled about that. Well, and my wife on for that. Yeah, I do, and the goal is to eventually get them out, and it's not anything really even being pushed by her. It's just I want to get them out of the house. But is there a smell? Yeah, there is, but it's not too bad. It's actually almost non-existent once you're changing it enough. So it's not as bad as you think. There's several ways you can do this. My number one thing, once I finally switched to it, Tractor Supply Plus, if you have one near you, or any of these places sell a certain pellet-based substrate, kind of, I guess you'd say. It's, I think, designed for horses and for stuff like that, and it's in a big old bag. They're cheap. They're like $5-6. I buy one of those. The reason being is it absorbs and it kind of breaks down into like a sawdusty type of material. It is extraordinary at keeping them good and keeping them smelling not bad. And quite frankly, when we first change it, I really like the smell. If I move them out to the shed, I will do the exact same thing, except I will add pine, not the kiln dried. You got to do kiln dried. If you do regular pine, they'll die. Or something kiln dried, something not pine or kiln dried. It's a supplement in there, just ever so slightly as well. That's what I'll add. I don't do it right now because they come in gigantic things, and I don't really feel like keeping that in the house because they get everywhere no matter what you try. But I used to keep them just on that, and I would notice problems all of the time, and then they would smell very, very quickly. Now I just notice if I put a little bit in there, they love to build nests out of it. They absolutely love to build nests out of it. But that's what I'd recommend. I highly recommend, whether you're inside or outside, that those pellets. They are absolutely phenomenal. And it's easy to keep, and they expand, so you don't need a whole bunch. You just need like that deep, honestly. You change it a lot. How deep would you say you keep it?
For
The rats, yes.
probably about that.
There you go. What is that, even an inch? There you go. That's how deep it is. And so it lasts a long time. One bag, we buy 2 bags at a time, and it lasts us, what, a month? Month and a half?
Probably 2.
Yeah, there you go. And we have how many setups back there? 7 as well?
10.
10. There you go. And they're $5 a piece, $6 a piece. That is my high recommendation. It is the best one I've used. Oh, and on the escapes thing, very rarely. I actually have some we keep as pets, quite frankly, so I don't really care. They're so domesticated that they're fine. In fact, quite often, these are domesticated rats, really. They're not wild. So they will, yeah, I've had them get out and I didn't even know, like a little baby. And then one day I'm brushing my teeth in the morning and this little sucker kind of climbs up on the hamper next to me and I see it and it's like doing this stuff and I'm like, what the heck? And so I grab it and put it back. It's thirsty. So it came to me. The only other time I've had it was I had one colony that was really bad. And they were in the house and they were on the floor level of the thing and they chewed through the grate. They chewed through the metal grate. I've only ever had this once, mind you. One time. In all of the time I've been doing this, which is many, many years now. They chewed through it and got out. And at one point I put a patch on there and I was like, okay, I didn't know if they ate any of it. One of them did and it started to die because it ate the metal. So I had to call that one. But then one of them, I went in there in the morning, same one, they had bust out again. And it was on the kitchen counter. Not the kitchen, sorry, the bathroom counter. Because we have it in attached, but it's complicated. It's like attached and it had made its way into the bathroom. And it jumped down all the way. It flew across, it scared the hell out of me. Flew across, landed on my foot, and actually kind of scratched my foot because it landed on it. Then ran back through the other room and in, and then jumped up. I was running after it. It jumped up into its container and went back home because it saw that I saw it. So it went home on its own. So, not, I guess it's possible, but it's not super common they're going to get out. And when they do, they are, again, they're domesticated and incredibly intelligent animals. It knew where it needed to go, and it knew when I came in the room that I was going to be like, the hell? So it freaked out, ran back into its room, practically flew. My ret setup is in my basement. That's the best if you can do it, for sure. I clean every week for grow out racks and every other week for tubs with just mamas in them. Yeah, and if you use that that stuff I was saying, it lasts a long time. The big blocks from Tractor Supply bedding works great. It's what I use. Yeah, so I like those, but I was getting them as well, but it just got to the point where I'd grab a little bit of that stuff, and it would just, I don't know what it was. It was just fatally attracted to the ground and get everywhere. So I didn't need it. I love those pellets. I sing their praises from the rooftop when it comes rooftops when it comes to rat bedding or any. We have a rabbit too, and I keep it on that too, as well as it's Timothy hay that they need. So heck, I've seen people keep snakes on it, ball pythons and such. I've seen it, and I don't know if I would recommend that, but I don't see why it would hurt. So on top we have a buttload of shelter cats and 6 dogs. Loose road. There's that too. Loose rodents won't be an issue. So we have 2 cats. They've never had to do one of our rodents in. We've always caught them if one of them ever got out. ASFs, I will say, holy moly, they can jump. They are like kangaroos. So I highly recommend when you're doing feedings. Remember, they're trying to fight for their life. I mean, you know, you can't really blame them. But I get really mad sometimes. So I've taken to just putting, especially the ASF, on a tongs, because since they're not as heavy, they're not screaming or in pain. So I'll put them on the tongs and hold them like that in front of the snake, and they'll get it. But rats, that's kind of hard to do because they'll freak out and they're huge, so they won't usually work. But I would recommend with the ASFs taking a little more caution, or even mice. They're fast and they can jump, and they can very quickly get away. So, and the ASFs, you know, if you got a cat though, they're gonna take those down. So, Autobot, he starts tuning in. Exciting day! I got a Wookiee het sunset that I won from Morphmarket. Oh, awesome! I think I might have seen that, but it was ending before we started. So, congrats! Yeah, very much congrats on the win. But I think we are gonna call it there. If anybody's got any last minute questions, let me know. I'm going to go over what we're doing for the week again. So, starting today, really, begins a bunch of days of just non-stop uploads. So, and by a bunch of days, I mean till Sunday. So obviously today with the live. Tomorrow, our full walkthrough of the Tinley Park and ARBC 25th anniversary show, by the way, goes live. It will be literally a POV version of you being at the show. So it'll show you walking. It'll show walking in the door and going through every single aisle. And we will also have what is it? The tags at the bottom where it can take you aisle by aisle. Unfortunately, we can't tag everything because YouTube won't let us tag everything. Otherwise, we would, and we have done that in the past when it let us. But there's so many tags, it just straight up says no. So we can tag the aisles, and what we'll do to do that so you can get to your favorite breeder, whoever you want to see, we have a link to a Google Doc that will forever be up, and it will just tell you where in the timestamp for everything. So you can go do every single one. It's how many, you got nearly every breeder every year. Every so often somebody doesn't have branding, and it's difficult to find out who they are. So you know, every year there's like 2 to 3 of them that just don't get marked, and we just put unknown. Unfortunately, if somebody's not going to have branding, there's nothing we can do. But we got most of it. So, and every year. So, so you'll be able to go through there and click and find out whoever you want. But you can watch the whole thing. It's a long video. It's like 4.5 hours. What I used to do, somebody else used to do them like 10 years ago at this point, I think now. I would watch a bunch of it, and I'd end up falling asleep watching these things, and I would kind of remember where I was, and then just the next day kind of pop it back on, just kind of watching, getting ideas, seeing what was things that I missed. I still watch my own one, honestly, I do, because even though I'm there all those days, there's still things I miss. It's such an enormous show, I can't even get over that. So whether you were there and you want to relive it, or find something that you couldn't remember where it was, or if you missed it and you want to basically virtually go to that show, well, we have it. On Saturday and Sunday, I don't know which is coming first. I don't know which one you've decided, but we will have a top 5, which, by the way, I don't know how to count. You know, I'll explain that in a second. Top 5 ball pythons video at the show, and a top 5 other animals. So mostly other reptiles, but no ball pythons in that one because they get their own video, obviously. But so it's when I say I don't know how to count, it's because top 5 sounds cool, right? So that's why it's called top 5. But I have 5 that I put on there, but then there's a bunch of honorable mentions, and every one of them is absolute gold. They are extraordinary. So one of the best things I've ever seen was at the show. In fact, many of them actually. There's a new gene called Mimic that I'm extremely excited about. We will be showing that. Justin brought probably the best Xanthic I've ever seen in my life. Not probably, it is. It's the best Xanthic I've ever seen in my entire life, and it will be the best one you've ever seen. So tune into that. And then for the other reptiles, I found an animal that I don't think I'd ever seen. The eastern shingleback skink. It basically is a little pine cone thing. Looks so cool. Such an awesome animal. So calm. I saw one in person, and we have it in the video. So check that out. It's one of the coolest animals I've ever seen. Am I missing anything?
Talk about both top 5s, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, after that, the next Sunday, I think it is, or on Sunday, our Halloween video will release, and it is about hybrid ball pythons. We always like to have a weird or spooky topic for those, and of course we are going to bring back the weirdness that happens throughout it. Basically the haunted or the horror element of it. So we have some fun with those. It is a legit video where we're going to show you some cool stuff, but of course throughout it we sprinkle in some background story for every single one of these. If you haven't checked out those, there are 3 others. There's the first one, which is more of a learning thing, and then the second one, which is about, what is the second one? What's the second one? Why can't I remember it? Oh, the rarest ball pythons ever to have existed. So 2-headed ball pythons, and we determine whether they're real or not. Skittles, obviously, if you've never seen what that snake is. And then the third year was the hunting aspects and how ball pythons eat, basically. So yeah, so this one will be about hybrids, so kind of a Frankenstein-y type theme, because that's how people view them, and it's very controversial. It's very controversial. hybrids, that is. And we talk about that, and usually I don't like to go to too much controversy, but that might change a little bit, because I think that we should talk about things that we disagree with, and we should do it in a respectful manner. And agreeing to disagree is a lost art that I think people need to get back to, and not just in reptiles, but in everything. So, but yeah, we're gonna talk about them, and we're gonna show them. So, quite frankly, I forgot we saw some of those blood balls at the Schaumburg show a while back. I mean,
Don't forget, you literally brought it up in that video.
Oh, did you? Okay, never mind. I guess we didn't forget. So you probably are already on it, and the footage is in the video. Sweet. That's why I keep him around. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without him, no joke, though. So, well, maybe I'd be able to do this. That's about it, though. Alrighty. We settle on a name as well. Dean K, Morse, Dan and Kim. It's tentative. While I verify, I don't see it already being used anywhere so far. That's cool. Yeah, and sometimes the name of a company, if it's after your name, you can, even if somebody already has it out there, you can do it because it's your name.
Dean K would not be covered.
Maybe not, yeah. So it depends. You have to prove it and stuff like that. I think nicknames to a small extent are, right? If you can prove that it's like a nickname that you are used.
It has to be very associated with you, and maybe.
Okay.
But it's not guaranteed. It'd be a case by case. The only thing that's guaranteed is your literal legal name.
Yes, and then you, you can always just copyright it and stuff like that too. More or less just for your own protection. So, if you have artwork done, by definition, it is already, as soon as it's created, is copyrighted, but you could still copyright it, I suppose. Doesn't hurt. But yeah, congratulations. So, I remember thinking about mine for a long time. There was so many. I wish I could find that old list. But then I just went with my old baseball nickname. People called me Rhyno when I played. And that's why it's called Rhyno's Royals. If I ever brand and start doing more reptiles, guess what I've already copyrighted? Rhyno's Reptiles. It needed to change. And I've already got ideas for what that would look like. So, let's see. I'm looking forward to that one. I'm fascinated with Angry Balls. They are, I think, yes, they're in it. So there's a lot in there. And honestly, I could make even more. And I could go into a whole thing of a bunch of other, what is it? Hybrids and such. So, yeah, the theme of it is kind of just like, fighting within myself, in a way.
I shouldn't say that much.
Well, I'm going to say a little bit. It's kind of like fighting within myself in a way. That's the underlying theme of it, because I don't usually like to do controversial things. So, controversy, sponsorversy. Right. And I mean, even if you don't, it's okay. Nobody's saying you have to be okay with it, but why is it not okay to talk about? That's just what I've always thought was so stupid. And you can have an opinion and on it. You can say, I think hybrids are horrible. And you can say, I think hybrids are awesome. And I think that it should be okay for the two people who have those two different opinions to be like, cool, and have a discussion to say, like, why do you not like them? Why do you like them? Okay. All right, well, I don't agree with you, but that's cool. Sure. Be still my beating heart if that happened. Spiders are, now everybody's doing the controversy stuff. Spider's a fantastic morph. Spider got an unfair amount of blame. I mean, there are a lot of genetics out there that have some stuff, and it took all of it. It took all of it. I actually I think it does a little too much, so I don't really work it. Ironically, the only spider I have, I found out by accident. It's right, it's not on screen. It's right next to the one with, wait, is it? It is on screen, this one.
It's not that they can read it anyway.
Whatever. It's a lesser butter visual hypo. And yeah, you're like, well, how would you know? Well, I got it tested and I created visual hypos. So, but it's a bell. It's a bell. So it's a blue-eyed Lucy. All white, crystal blue eyes. I bred it one year and I got a lesser spider out of it. And I was like, oh, okay. So that's the only one I have, and I don't have any plans of really getting rid of her because I use her for a lot of different things. She doesn't have any wobble, neither did any of her babies. That's the only one I'll probably ever have. I think it does a little too much, quite frankly, though. but I don't have any qualms one way or the other. I'm very indifferent when it comes to it. So I do feel, however, it got an unfair amount of blame for having that, the inner ear defect. And that's the other thing. There's a lot of misinformation out there. People say they had neurological brain damage, and it did not. It had an inner ear deficiency or deficiency issue, defection. So, and that caused it to be dizzy. So, and it's different in each one. So, I'd like to eventually get an Angolan to make some angries. They're right on my budget right now. Yeah, I think I'm a big fan of the I probably wouldn't do like a hybrid when it comes to bull pythons myself. But if I did, it might be the blood balls, because I love these big, thick snakes. They are so cool. My favorite snake in the world is a gaboon viper, but I don't feel like getting bit and melting away. So another snake that kind of looks like that without the cool horns and whatnot on its head. They even have that cool bladed thick head, would be a blood python. I've often thought of getting a blood python just as a cool, fun animal, and that'd probably be the largest snake I could keep in my current setup anyways. I'd probably have to figure something out with some of this stuff, but that would be my favorite huge snake myself. Right there with you. I appreciate it. But yeah, I think we're gonna call it there. I need to send my payment for the animal that I want, so I don't want them to think I'm ghosting them. So alrighty, well, appreciate y'all showing up again. Like I said, busy week for us. Please check out that walkthrough starting tomorrow. I know it's long, but just check it out in your meantime. If you're just sitting there at the end of the night and you got some time, check it out. Pick it up the next day where you left off. It is as comprehensive as you can get, and if you didn't get to go to the show, well, now you do. So hope you all have a great night, and we will catch you in the next one. Thanks again for tuning in to us.